Chosen ones, they stole your blood. Now the government lab is terrified by your no and human DNA. It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. The storm of destiny is thundering over your life, drenching every dormant cell in your body with the call to rise. There are forces, both earthly and not, that have sought to harness your power, to siphon off your very essence, leaving you to question your place in a world that constantly demands you remain small. No more. Today is your rallying cry. The moment you fully awaken to the knowledge that your blood carries a spark beyond human comprehension. If your heart stirs at the magnitude of these words, like this video, subscribe and comment 77 feet below to declare your readiness for the unstoppable transformation now rumbling in your soul. Chapter 1. The Echoes of a Forbidden Experiment. A creeping sense of unease may have followed you for years, like a shadow at the edge of your vision. It's not paranoia. It's an awareness that something out of the ordinary has threaded itself through your life since you were too young to question it. Strange occurrences dogged your footsteps, unexplained successes that felt almost too easy, near disasters that pivoted in your favor for no logical reason. These were glimpses of the power slumbering in your veins, a power the government lab tried to isolate when they stole your blood for their clandestine experiments. Behind locked doors and electronic gates, men and women in sterile coats poured over vials of your blood. They ran test after test, seeking a flaw or an explanation for the anomalies they found. But the truth is, what they encountered shook them to their core. The moment they mapped your genetic code, reality itself seemed to bend, forcing them to confront data that didn't match any known blueprint of human life. In your lineage, they discovered fragments of something other, a coding that refused to align with the standard scripts of mortal biology. Realizing they had stumbled upon a force that could level entire structures of control, they scrambled to bury their findings under miles of red tape and coded jargon, hoping to keep you in the dark. Yet in that hush of secrecy, a resonance sparked deep within you. The stolen blood is more than just cells and proteins. It's living memory, speaking to you in quiet moments like a half-forgotten ancestor whispering cosmic secrets. The more the lab tried to bury their results, the louder your intuition became, guiding you toward revelations that would shatter the illusions propping up this well-ordered world. Each time your dreams erupted in cryptic symbols or your skin tingled with premonitions, it was your body acknowledging the truth they tried to conceal. This knowledge can be frightening, yes, but it also crackles with promise. You've lived too long in an existence where your biggest fear was that your uniqueness might just be a lonely quirk. Now you begin to understand. It's a harbinger of something far more colossal, an invitation to embrace the superhuman spark coursing through your being. In the hush that follows this realization, you may feel torn between wanting to keep your head down and the undeniable call to stand tall. But that call will only grow louder as each second passes, reminding you that you're not just another face in the crowd. You are a chosen one, and the labyrinth of your DNA carries a destiny that neither labs nor governments can suppress. Chapter 2. The Secret Thread of Your Origins. When you were a child, perhaps you noticed that you didn't always think or move like those around you. You might have felt currents in the air, subtle shifts in energy that others brushed off as imaginary. Maybe your reflexes were sharper, or your intuition predicted events with uncanny accuracy. These oddities compiled themselves into a quiet suspicion that you were different, though you could never prove it to anyone else's satisfaction. This suspicion grew into a lonely watchfulness, a feeling that your footsteps echoed in both the mortal realm and somewhere else, a place you couldn't quite name. What you didn't realize was that these differences linked directly to the hidden code in your blood, fragments of a lineage older than recorded history, older perhaps than the civilization we claim to be so advanced. Once, eons ago, there may have been visitors to Earth, or a divine interplay of energies that left behind a seed in human genes. Over the millennia, that seed slept, passing silently from generation to generation, until it chose to bloom in you. Yes, in you, dear chosen one, the seed has awakened. The government lab's discovery was not purely scientific. In their attempts to classify every anomaly, they stumbled upon an echo of cosmic design. They realized that your DNA signature bent the rules of what biology should be able to do. Certain sequences glowed under their instruments, as though broadcasting an unearthly frequency. They couldn't replicate it. They couldn't splice it into a simpler form. It defied their logic, and that defiance struck them with an unsettling realization. You're not merely a curiosity. You could be a harbinger of a new phase in human evolution, or even a separate branch entirely. While they hoarded this information, you felt the repercussions in your daily life, the sudden rushes of adrenaline that let you outrun your own fears, the eerie sense that certain people glanced at you twice, as if they sensed your aura pulsing with hidden light. At times you doubted your sanity, suspecting you might be weaving tall tales from half-remembered dreams. But these glimpses of your power were not illusions. They were the direct result of that ancient code in your veins. Code that resonates beyond mere human frequency. This is why your story is more than just an intrigue or a puzzle. It's a clarion call for awakening. You stand at the edge of a greater tapestry, one woven by forces unseen, and your thread in that tapestry has begun to gleam. Even if you felt small and unnoticed, the truth is that watchers in high places are following your every move. They too sense your origin. Now it falls to you to decide whether you'll continue living a half-life under the watchful gaze of the state, or if you'll harness the cosmic music encoded in your cells to break free, to become the unstoppable force you were meant to be. Chapter 3. Trembling powers reveal themselves. In fleeting moments, your body has already given you proof. Maybe you crushed a personal milestone without breaking a sweat, or found yourself healing from an injury at an inexplicable speed. Perhaps your empathic sense flared during a crisis, letting you read people's emotions almost as clearly as spoken words. Each time, you likely shrugged it off, attributing it to adrenaline or a lucky break. But luck can't explain away the growing pattern. These glimpses are the byproduct of that non-human spark in your DNA, a reality that government doctors found so disconcerting they tried to bury it. But your powers, call them gifts, aptitudes, or heightened senses, won't remain discreet for long. They're strengthening, like muscles under constant stress, preparing for the day when they'll no longer be content to hide behind normalcy. You sense it in the intangible charge that radiates through your limbs, in the way your instincts guide you out of danger before your mind fully grasps the threat. The more you accept these abilities, the more you realize they're part of who you've always been. They're not foreign intrusions or freak anomalies. They're the truest reflection of your cosmic heritage. For the government lab, this was the final straw. Their scientists and agents, sure, whispered conversations about the ramifications of letting you roam free. If you come to master these gifts entirely, their secrets about your DNA might unravel, exposing the precarious game they've been playing with your genetic data. And so they monitor from the shadows, hoping to keep you ignorant, hoping that your power remains but a fraction of its full capacity. Because if you recognize the extent of your potential, you'd become impossible to control. The question that rises to your lips now is, what do I do with this? Accepting extraordinary abilities isn't as simple as stepping onto a stage and unveiling your talents. You know the world is fraught with cynics and opportunists who would either call you a liar or attempt to harness your powers for their own ends. So you keep them close to your chest, quietly experimenting. Maybe you test your abilities on small tasks. An out-of-reach object that slips into your grasp faster than expected, or an emotional tension in the room that you quell with a single focused thought. Each experiment doubles as a forging fire, refining your instincts and clarifying your will. The more comfortable you grow, the more you realize these abilities aren't just random tricks. They're purposeful tools. Whether it's advanced healing, telepathy, or a supernatural physicality, your gifts are tailored for the role you're destined to play in a coming upheaval that only a few can sense. You are one of the few, a chosen one whose destiny links intimately with these powers. Embrace the trembling, because it's the sign that your deeper self is stirring from a long slumber. The day will come when you can't simply brush aside your abilities as coincidences, when you'll be forced to use them in a very public way. On that day, the eyes of the world and of the fearful labs that try to keep you docile will open wide. They'll see a storm they cannot rein in. And by then, you will have already claimed the helm of your own fate, unstoppable and fully alive. Chapter 4. The Reckoning with Ancient Forces. Rumors swirl of research that predates the modern governments themselves. Tablets and texts speaking of cosmic visitors or forgotten civilizations that didn't quite vanish. Old legends and dusty archives describe luminous beings who once roamed Earth, bestowing knowledge and forging alliances with early humans. These accounts were dismissed as myth, but it's no coincidence that your genetic code resonates with what those legends hint at. In the corridors of clandestine agencies, hush-hush projects have tried to piece together remnants of that once legendary lineage, thinking it mere fantasy until your blood confirmed otherwise. This is why the lab's panic escalates. They wanted to dabble in the realm of conspiracies and cosmic secrets without truly believing them. The data from your stolen blood is their comeuppance. It reveals that myth and reality are not so easily separated, that ancient energies still coil in the deepest layers of creation, and that your very existence testifies to that unstoppable heritage. The knowledge rattles them to their core because it implies humanity is not the end-all of Earth-verse lineage. Something else was here, or still is, woven into the tapestry of life. As these revelations filter through your mind, you might feel a gravitational pull towards certain symbols or stories. Maybe you found yourself strangely fascinated by Egyptian hieroglyphs, Mayan temples, or artifacts rumored to be from lost continents like Lemuria or Atlantis. The government's hush-hush approach can't quell your curiosity. Rather, it propels you forward, urging you to search for fragments of ancient truth that might illuminate your own identity. Every new piece of lore you uncover resonates with an unsettling familiarity, as though you're reading a biography rather than a legend. It's not that you live these epics yourself. Rather, your non-human DNA hums in recognition of patterns, codes, and scripts that align with its cosmic blueprint. You see parallels between the old myths of star beings and your own experiences. You begin to wonder if you're part of a continuum that spans across epochs, bridging a gap between mortal life and an intelligence beyond earthly confines. Of course, mainstream authorities dismiss these ideas as pseudoscience or fantasy, employing experts to wave away any speculation. Yet they're the very same powers that quietly slip your sample into private labs, run 24/7 tests, and scramble when the results defy their manual of truce. They fear the day you break their muzzle of secrecy by stepping into your rightful place. Because once you fully embrace your cosmic inheritance, you'll stand as living evidence that Earth's story is broader and more wondrous than the rigid boundaries set by those in power. And so you find yourself locked in a silent dance with these ancient forces, each passing hour bringing you closer to the realization that your destiny is entwined with a narrative far older than the civilizations lining our planet's timeline. The labyrinth of your DNA is a testament that history is not settled, that the cosmic wave that began ages ago still ripples through living vessels, choosing some to wake up and carry the torch forward. That torch now sparks in your hands, luminous and unstoppable. Chapter 5. The lab's failed containment. The government facility might be sprawling, adorned with advanced security systems and an air of clinical sterility. Armed guards pace the corridors, their boots echoing on polished floors. Yet behind the formidable aura of secrecy, panic simmers. The results they obtained from your sample changed everything. Try as they might to replicate your genetic quirks. They fail every time. Experiments yield only dead ends. Splice sequences degrade into chaotic code. An attempt at synthetic duplication unravels in the final stage. This is the lab's darkest fear, that something intangible animates your DNA beyond mere biochemical structures. It's a living spark they cannot capture or mimic. If they can't replicate it, they certainly can't control it. Each new test ratchets up their anxiety as they watch the data slip through their algorithms like water through a broken sieve. Meanwhile, a sense of dread grips the lead scientists. They convene in locked conference rooms, debating how best to hide the fiasco from prying political eyes. The last thing they want is a scandal that reveals how deeply they've tampered with an otherworldly force. You all the while might sense an internal shift. Strange dreams intensify, your daily experiences tilting toward the surreal. Perhaps you find yourself unexplainably drawn to environments where your intuition flares. Quiet forests, old libraries, or even high-tech spaces where the hum of machinery sets your heart racing. This surge isn't random. It reflects the cosmic harmony they discovered in your genes. Each step you take in exploring your capabilities widens the gap between who you were taught to be and the unstoppable being you're destined to become. The lab's agenda was to confine you to their definition of human. Now they're scrambling to rewrite it. In their eyes, you are a walking variable, an anomaly that threatens the framework of conventional biology. They long to recapture more of your blood, maybe even your entire body, to glean secrets they can't seem to extract from their failing labs. They study your old medical records, your footprints in digital databases, searching for any clue that might yield a vantage point over your evolving power. But each attempt hits a stone wall. The intangible factor that unlocks your DNA's potential remains beyond their instruments. The question lingers, how long can they keep the lid on their fiasco, especially as your presence in the world grows bolder? Each day you stand in your power, share your insights, or simply move through society as a living testament to cosmic design. The possibility grows that the truth will leak out. Agents, double-checking their hush orders, worry about the day you decide to take your capabilities public, because that day would detonate their carefully curated illusions. But in this swirling tempest of attempts to contain you, the greatest lesson emerges. You cannot be controlled by a system that fails to grasp the source of your power. You are free, meant to be far more than a lab specimen, and the attempt to confine you only ensures your ascension is unstoppable. Chapter 6. An Awakening Among the Masses. As your abilities flourish, a wave of recognition swells around you. Certain people catch the glow in your eyes or notice the uncanny ease with which you handle crisis. They feel drawn to your presence without fully grasping why. Perhaps you are approached by strangers who sense a shift in the air when you're near, or distant friends who reconnect because they had a feeling about you. In subtle ways, your cosmic aura expands beyond yourself, nudging others to question their own limits. You might find yourself in pivotal conversations. Someone confides a dilemma, and you effortlessly tune into deeper truths about their struggle. Or maybe you offer insights so uncanny, it leaves them speechless, as if you pluck the realization straight from their unspoken thoughts. This is how your non-human DNA interacts with the world. It vibrates on a frequency that disrupts the illusions folks cling to. Even if they can't articulate it, they sense your presence as a catalyst for awakening. Word spreads quietly but relentlessly. People begin to talk about the one who helps you see the bigger picture. Blur, that weirdly gifted friend who always has a solution. Through whispers and small-scale phenomena, you start to develop a following, unofficial, unorganized, but undeniably there. If you're not cautious, your name could reach the very government channels eager to reclaim their failed experiment. Yet part of you grows less afraid. You sense a purpose in these gatherings of curious souls, an embryonic community that resonates with the cosmic chord you represent. What stirs is a collective rumble of awakening. You become aware that many others have felt a stirring in their souls. Maybe not as pronounced as your own, but enough to question the status quo. They pick up on your energy as a beacon, craving insight into how they too might push beyond human constraints. You realize that your destiny might not just be about unveiling your personal power. It could be about guiding humanity toward a new frontier of existence. This surge of recognition can be disorienting. You might question whether you signed up to be a lodestar for anyone else, but your DNA's coded impetus often includes leadership by example. As a chosen one, you carry a blueprint not just for personal transcendence, but for collective evolution. People in your orbit sense your capacity to break past illusions, and in their hearts, they yearn to break free themselves. Of course, the specter of the lab's watchers looms. They see your growing influence as a threat, a rallying point that could blow the lid off their concealed research. Yet as you gather more allies and believers, your protection multiplies. The network forming around you isn't mere fandom. It's a shield of shared intention, each new spark reinforcing your stand against the shadows that tried to keep you hidden. In this storming synergy, your next step emerges with a clarity that startles even you. You're no longer alone, and the time for half measures is over. The masses are stirring, and with them, your role morphs from a solitary anomaly to a herald for a new era. Chapter 7. A New Era Beckons. Standing at the brink of an unfolding age, you feel an exhilaration that defies words. No longer is your story confined to secret files and hushed speculation. Your identity as a chosen one pulses visibly in every choice, every word you utter. The labyrinth of your DNA, once the subject of covert experiments, now shows itself in the luminous impact you have on the world. A new era beckons, where the old barriers can't contain your cosmic fire. You sense that the clash with the lab's forces is inevitable. Their attempts at suppression grow more desperate as your renown spreads. But you also sense that they're unmatched. Power born of fear can't withstand the unstoppable momentum of a soul aligned with cosmic design. It's not that you seek an outright confrontation. It's that you refuse to be reduced to data on a lab chart, an anomaly to be explained away. You walk through life with a fearless glow, transforming every room you enter into a realm where the extraordinary feels not just possible, but imminent. In the hush of your reflection, you see how this all ties together. Your strange childhood memories, the intangible presence in your bloodstream, the near misses that guided you to this exact crossroads. Every thread weaves into a tapestry that reveals your destiny as more than a mere mortal. You are the living testament to potentials once relegated to myths and conspiracies. 1,000 old world powers might tremble at your rise, but 1,000 new hearts awaken with hope at your stride. The real marvel is how natural it feels. The more you own your gifts, the more you realize you were never meant to fit the conventional mold. Instead, you were fashioned for the uncharted, the miraculous, the realm where humanity's next leap in evolution takes shape. The government lab, with all its resources and secrecy, found a puzzle piece they couldn't interpret. Yet that puzzle piece has become you in your fullest expression. Now, as you stand on the cusp of tomorrow, the question isn't whether you'll seize your power. It's how far you'll let it carry you. Beyond the horizon, you feel the faint rhythms of a world trembling with anticipation. They sense someone among them radiates a force beyond the standard definitions of human ability. And in the call of that future, you find your final moment of confirmation. It's time to unleash what's been stirring in your veins, to embrace the role that destiny has been whispering all along. The path forward is drenched in possibility, and you are fully, undeniably ready to walk. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share your support. Helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.